When the right sends their candidates, they're not sending their best. Or maybe they are. Maybe this is the best they've got. Take a look at Charles Doles. You can take a look at a shot of him right there. He's running for commissioner in a Georgia county, and admittedly, he does have organizing experience. As a former member of the KKK, he once held the title of Grand Klaliff of the Invisible Empire, which is not a title in one of my fantasy novels. That's his actual title. He was in the Knights of the Ku Klux Klan, and he wants to be a Lumpkin County commissioner. He says he has leadership experience in what he calls white activism, which I guess is activism. He's also been to prison twice, which, that does not mean that you should not be allowed to serve your country or a locality. Admittedly, though, he did go back in 1993 for beating a black man in Maryland. He served years in prison for that. Then in 2003, he was convicted of weapons violations in Georgia and spent 4 years in federal prison. All of this while being an active member of organized white supremacy. But don't worry, because in 2020, he renounced racism. And then he started an organization called Patriots USA, which sounds like the last bastion for racism, but whatever. He opposes critical race theory and the Black Lives Matter movement. So opposing racism, I don't know what that means in practice when you're as racist as all the others, Ida, but what do you think about this guy? You think he's got a chance?
So I think he is like a combination of a lot of things that we've talked about today, right? So first of all, America is not racist, but you can be a former KKK member and run for political office with a criminal record for being racist, nonetheless. Secondly, we talk about the education system in this country. There are people who are, every time they hear critical race theory, they get all revved up because they don't know what it is. They think that, they're teaching about slavery to kids that are in kindergarten and don't realize that this is, part of a post-secondary curriculum. But it's just amazing to me that people are sitting here having these conversations. And the funny thing is that I don't know any black or brown people that want white people to suffer and struggle. They just don't want to suffer and struggle anymore. Sure, I'm sure there are some black and brown people who could get some delight in watching white people go through some of the things that they went through, but most people don't. And so when people say white lives matter, sure they do. But are you gonna go after these politicians who are white, who are, who have power in your jurisdiction, that are making sure that teachers don't have the books that they need for the white lives, that don't care about white people having health care, that don't care about white people, being treated fairly by the police when they're poor? So when you talk about white lives matter, you're not talking about white lives actually being a value. It's just white lives matter in opposition to black and brown people having mattering now. And so that's why it's such a bogus argument for me, because you really don't care about white lives. You just hate other people who are not white. Because if you really cared about the fact that white lives matter, then you would be on board to making sure that black lives matter, brown lives matter, that all lives really mattered, and that people had their basic needs and what they require to have a good quality of life. But that's not what this is about. This is about you want to go and you want to motivate and you want to activate and you want to provoke the people who hate others because they have been brainwashed into believing that they don't have what they need in life because of those people. But it's it's your people, the people you want to join, the politicians and the people who have power. And it's so ridiculous and it's so sad because those that don't know better can't do better.
100%, couldn't agree more. Yeah, I find it ironic that people, so many Americans in 2020 they'd put on their white all lives matter hat, and then they'd take it off and put on their no mask, no vaccine hat. Exactly. Come on, man, this ain't about life. It's about something, but it ain't about life. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.